All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's a very exciting day for us, really. My name is Emmanuel Petch. I am the Assistant Manager in the Office of Strategy Management, and I will be your moderator for today's press briefing. Now, before we begin, please allow me to recognize members of our executive team, Mr. Sidney Campbell, Executive Chairman of the Central Bank of Belize, Mr. Kareem Michael, Governor of the Central Bank of Belize, Ms. Leticia Murillo, Deputy Governor for Monetary and Financial Systems, Mr. Hollis Parham, Deputy Governor for Monetary and Financial Systems, for Finance and Administration. Now, I'd also like to recognize our distinguished guests, Mr. Federico Beckley, Country Representative for the World Bank Group, Mr. Matt Walsh, Global Sales Director for Montran Corporation, Ms. Shannon Walsh, Regional Sales Manager for Montran Corporation, heads of departments and senior government officials, representatives from the financial sector present with us today, CBB management, and of course, our media colleagues. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, it's truly an exciting day for us here at the Central Bank of Belize as we collectively take a definitive step towards building a more modern and inclusive financial digital payments landscape in Belize, and we'll tell you why. Our goal for today is twofold. First, to officially introduce Belize's instant payment system. That's the term that you will want to remember for today. Belize's instant payment system, or IPS for short. And two, to give you the opportunity to hear directly from the central bank team and, of course, our key partners making this all happen. For our agenda, we will first hear a presentation from Governor Kareem Michael on the overview and scope of IPS. Next, we will hear some remarks from Mr. Federico Beckley, Country Representative for the World Bank Group. And then we will have a presentation from Mr. Walsh, the Global Sales Director for Montran. And finally, of course, we will open the floor for questions from the media. We kindly ask the media that you reserve your questions for this segment on the agenda. So by the end of the session, we hope that you will have a good grasp of what is IPS, why it matters so much, and how this is set to benefit Belize. And without further delay, I would like to first invite the governor to give his presentation on what is IPS.
All right, I think I got that sorted out. I think protocol has been established, but it's one of those things which I think I need to at least recognize a couple more people. I see members of Shared Service Network here. I also see, well, I thought I saw Dr. Cherie Craig, and it's important, don't hide, it's important that we recognize Dr. Craig, because when we embarked on this modernization project of our payments infrastructure in 2016, Dr. Craig, I think Matt and Shannon may have remembered her, was the lead person, project manager for that project at that point in time. And Mr. Alaria just walked in, who's the president of the Belize Bankers Association. Two key bodies, Shared Service Network and also Belize Bankers Association. And thank you, Mr. Elliott, for also being here. I also see colleagues from the credit unions and also from commercial banks. Also to the central bank team, this day is as much about you to bring us to this point, and you should be celebrating as well. So let's get into it. The central bank is pleased to announce a major strategic initiative being developed to modernize our financial system, the Belize Instant Payment System project. This project represents a key component of the central bank's broader national strategy to enhance financial system resilience, improve operational efficiency, and advance financial inclusion across Belize. About an hour ago, the central bank executed a contract agreement with our long-standing and trusted partner, Montran Corporation, marking the official transition of this project from the planning stage to implementation. This is not an isolated project. It forms part of a deliberate, carefully sequenced, multi-year modernization agenda being pursued by the central bank in the public interest. This initiative started in 2016 with the implementation of the Automated Payment and Securities Settlement System, APSSS. Through apps, Belize introduced the Automated Clearinghouse, which supports instant funds transfers, electronic funds transfers, and electronic check clearing, the real-time gross settlement system, and the central securities depository. These reforms significantly improve the safety, speed, and efficiency of payments and settlement processes while bolstering system-wide liquidity management. In 2023, the central bank expanded this modern infrastructure by integrating credit unions into APSSS, ensuring broader access to electronic payments across the financial sector. More recently, in 2025, the launch of Apps 2.0 further enhanced system capacity, resilience, and operational efficiency, reinforcing Belize's core financial infrastructure. Over the last 5 years, the central bank statistics, and if you look at the graph, you can see there in the early stages, early years, there was this steady adoption and then this rapid growth in 2023 through to 2025. Comparing the 2020 position to the 2025, it's more than double in terms of transaction volumes. Building on nearly a decade of demonstrated growth in digital payments, the Belize Instant Payment System represents the next logical step in the evolution of payments ecosystem. The IPS will extend modernization directly into the everyday economy, transforming how individuals, businesses, and government make and receive payments in real time. So what's the value proposition of this fast payment system? So what we're taking is international best practices, and we're applying those into our domestic context. And the first thing to point out is the feature of continuous availability, which allows payments to be made at any time, every day of the year. What's the current experience? With apps, digital payments operate largely within banking hours with same-day processing dependent on settlement windows. Many in the public don't realize this, but there are different windows, 9 to 10:30, and then after that 11 to 12, where you process your EFT and your IFT, and then checks comes afterwards. If you try putting a payment at 3 o'clock, that won't be processed until the next day to finality. Not ideal. So what IPS will deliver is payments 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, allowing money to move when the economy moves, not just when the banks are open. Continuous availability is identified by the World Bank as a defining feature of instant payment systems globally, supporting daily life and economic activity without interruption. The second thing which I want to point out, real-time processing and settlement, providing immediate finality and greater confidence in the movement of funds. The current experience under apps is that payments clear and settle, sometimes on a same-day basis, with the earliest settlement being a time of 2 minutes for IFT transactions. Now, the central bank tests this often, and sometimes IFT is 10, 15 minutes, maybe even longer. So IPS will deliver, this fast payment system will deliver that what our target is, that these transactions will be processed and settled typically in 10 seconds or less. It is like sending a WhatsApp message. Third, interoperability, enabling seamless payments by allowing participants to clear and settle payment or financial transactions across systems without participating only in those systems. So what's the current experience? Currently, the 4 domestic banks and 3 credit unions that are part of the shared service network are connected to apps and therefore have some level of interoperability. The existing digital wallets operate in a closed loop, meaning that they can only be used at merchants or agents signed up by the prospective wallet issuers. Therefore, digital wallets are not interoperable with each other or with all merchant terminals. IPS, the fast payment system, will connect banks, credit unions, and digital wallets into one shared payment system, allowing money to move easily and instantly between individuals, businesses, regardless of the provider. Fourth, what we're aiming for is simplicity and efficiency by reducing existing frictions within apps. The current experience, digital payments often requires detailed bank information and account numbers to make payments, creating friction for users. IPS will allow payments using features as QR codes and alias proxies identifiers, reducing effort and errors. Together, these outcomes are fundamental to driving adoption and to building trust and confidence across the economy. I'll probably run through this because I think our partners from Montran will also mention some of this. So building on or leaving off from, right off where we left off from the alias proxy discussion, payments can be made using simple identifiers. Again, these are alias and proxy identifiers, such as phone numbers or email addresses rather than full account details. For example, instead of asking someone for their bank account information, you can enter their phone number and the transaction amount and send the payment. Everyday transfers will be quick, safe, and error-free. QR code payments, most of us would have experienced QR codes in other jurisdictions. This will enable faster and lower costs between customers and businesses, particularly benefiting small merchants and informal sellers. When purchasing food from a vendor, for example, small shops are paying a taxi. You can scan a QR code with your phone, confirm the amount, and the payment is completed instantly. The request to pay functionality will enable secure and transparent payment requests, while keeping control firmly on the payer. For example, a small business can send you an invoice digitally on your phone. You review the details and choose whether to proceed with the payment. If it is not approved, then you do not proceed. The control always stays with the person making the payment. These capabilities are designed to make digital payments practical, accessible, and secure for everyday use. Across the global financial system, instant payment systems are now recognized as essential economic infrastructure. It's safe to say that it's a public good. International experience demonstrates that countries with instant payment systems benefit from higher transaction volumes, improved efficiency, and broader access to digital financial services. Speed and reliability influence behavior and confidence. I want to single out what this means for the households. Instant payments mean practical improvements in daily life. If a family member faces a medical emergency or an expected expense, help can be sent immediately and received within seconds. Bills for utilities, school fees, or services can be paid instantly with confirmation. When payments are immediate and reliable, people gain confidence using digital payments. And the drivers of our economy, the MSMEs, instant payments will improve cash flow, reduce settlement delays, and support day-to-day operations. Remember, this is not a standalone initiative, but a powerful enabler of the central bank's strategic agenda, including the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. As World Bank evidence shows that instant low-cost payments significantly accelerate financial inclusion with measurable increases in account ownership and access to formal financial services for previously unbanked populations. For Belize, the instant payment system is therefore a strategic public investment. It is a national infrastructure designed to support economic activity, expand participation in the formal financial system, and reinforce trust and long-term financial stability. So, what does the next steps look like? With the contract now executed, the project moves fully into the implementation phase. Activities will focus on detailed system design, stakeholder readiness, configuration testing, and a phased rollout. Full deployment is targeted over an approximate period of 18 months, with go-live expected in early 2028, allowing time for integration, testing, regulatory alignment, and industry preparation. This deliberate pace reflects the strategic importance of the initiative and a commitment to delivering a robust, sustainable system. And this is more of an appeal here, or recognizing that the success of the system cannot be without those operating in the financial space, the Bankers Association and Shared Services Network. So this milestone reflects substantial preparation and strong partnerships. Certainly, the World Bank has been a big brother through this entire experience, and has really supported this initiative. I just want to at least recognize Fed again here, and there's also a few more that couldn't have made it who are in DC. Thank you. So, innovation must always be accompanied by strong governance, effective risk management, and robust oversight. The central bank remains fully committed to ensuring that the instant payment system is secure, resilient, and trusted. But, again, and this has to be emphasized, this can only be a success with continuous engagement with participants throughout the procurement process. Banks, credit unions, key stakeholders who have been consulted on multiple stages will continue to be a partner on this project. Their input enhance transparency, help to strengthen outcomes, and build early readiness across the financial sector. So, the success of Belize instant payment system depends on continued collaboration among all participants: banks, credit unions, service providers, merchants, government agencies, technology partners, Each play an important role in delivering public value through safe, efficient payments. To translate this national investment into meaningful benefits for the public, domestic banks must take the lead in modernizing their existing systems to support secure, interoperable, and reliable participation in the fast payments network. The central bank therefore calls on domestic banks to treat system modernization as an immediate strategic priority, recognizing that this system is a core national payment infrastructure that supports economic activity, public confidence, and financial stability. The central bank looks forward to continued engagement with all stakeholders as this strategic initiative advances. This shared commitment strengthens the foundation for successful implementation and long-term sustainability. In closing, the Belize instant payment system is more than a payment platform. It is a strategic national initiative. It is an investment in essential financial infrastructure and a commitment to resilience, inclusion, and efficiency. From apps to apps 2.0, and now to an instant payment system, the central bank continues to deliver a clear and disciplined approach to modernization of the financial system in the public interest. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor, for that presentation. Now, I just wanted to put some local perspective into what all of this means, and I'm sure all of you have been there. It's lunchtime, you order your fried chicken, and then you call your one man for deliver this fried chicken, but you don't have any cash, and you have to quickly go on your bank account to make a transfer. So what follows next is you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and your one man is running out of patience, and he's waiting for that payment to come through. Well, that is a thing of the past with IPS. So I just wanted to add that little local perspective so that we could start to get excited about this, because it is exciting. Now, I want to invite Mr. Federico Beckler to give his remarks.
Good morning, Governor, distinguished guests, colleagues, and partners. On behalf of the World Bank Group, I'm honored to congratulate the Central Bank of Belize, and especially Governor Kareem Michael, for his leadership, initiative, and remarkable vision in moving towards building a faster, more inclusive financial sector in an increasingly interconnected economy. Bravo to you and your team, Governor. And kudos to my colleague, Helen Gradstein, and her team for the excellent work with the Central Bank. Unfortunately, Helen fell ill, and I know she's very disappointed not to be here today. Belize's progress towards a faster payment agenda is not just a technical upgrade. It's a major step in Belize's journey of modernizing payments and building resilience. A recent World Bank Group report on faster payments in Latin America and the Caribbean found that the introduction of faster payment systems drove a 130-fold increase in instant payment transactions across Latin America between 2017 and 2024. People across Latin America are shifting away from cash, and merchants are increasing digital payment acceptance. We're already seeing that trajectory take hold in Belize. Belize's existing infrastructure is one of the most advanced payment systems in the Caribbean. It's also one of a few countries in the region to integrate credit unions directly into its core payment infrastructure. This is a major gain in reaching last-mile adults. Through Belize's efforts to make faster its automated payment and security settlement system, the APSSS, we have seen almost a doubling of total transactions processed through the system, more than a tripling of instant fund transfers and of mobile wallet transactions. That is sustained growth, and that is before the faster payments layer is even live. Faster payments builds on that foundation and transforms how money moves within the economy, especially for merchants, for excluded populations, for cross-border commerce, and for Belize's own national ambitions. So what are the implications of faster payments on Belize's development agenda? For MSMEs and merchants, it removes the biggest barrier to digital commerce. For the unbanked, it means reaching the last 20%. For disaster response, it matters enormously because it helps ensure money gets dispersed quickly and efficiently to disaster-affected people and businesses, providing relief when they need it the most. And this is key for one of the most climate-vulnerable countries in the world. Lastly, for cross-border payments and regional integration, faster payments accelerates Belize's ambition to become a logistics hub. How so? Belize sits geographically and economically at the intersection of the Caribbean and Central America. Logistics is not just about ports, roads, airports. It's equally about the digital financial infrastructure. Investments in fast payments means investing in relationships across the globe, ensuring Belize's financial system is compatible with regional and global payment systems. To close, today's signing is a signal of progress and of what comes next. Belize is moving as a regional leader, building not just modern payment systems, but a resilient and interconnected financial infrastructure. The World Bank Group is truly proud to have been part of this journey to support the central bank. We look forward to continuing to support Belize through implementation as it continues to take ambitious, deliberate, and steadfast steps to achieve its goals. Congratulations to the team, to Governor Michael, to the central bank, and to the entire government of Belize. Thanks. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Beckler, for providing us really a scope of the global perspective, and just so you can understand that the whole world is moving in this direction and Belize is not far behind, right? So now I would like to call on Mr. Walsh to give his informative presentation and take a deeper dive at IPS.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Walsh with the Montran Corporation. I'm a global sales director and board member of Montran. I've been with Montran for about 16 years now. I was involved in the original implementation of the clearing and settlement solution along with the Central Securities Depository here at the central bank. So I've been intimately involved in your journey of modernization, and I will, of course, be a part of this project as well. So firstly, let me thank the governor for his remarks and his presentation. We truly appreciate his leadership and guidance in a project like this. Being involved this much really helps drive the project on complete success. So we thank you for his guidance there, and thank you for all the other presentations and comments. From Montran's point of view, we are extremely honored to be here, very honored at the highest level. We appreciate your trust once again, and we look forward to a very successful project. So just briefly, we're going to give you a flavor, a profile of Montran as a company for those of you that don't know us. Not so much from a sales perspective, but to make you comfortable with Montran on who we are and what we've been doing for a very long time. And then from there, we will be going over, at a high level, the solution overview, the key benefits. Some of it will be redundant based on what Governor presented, but just to show that we're aligned and on the same page, we'd like to present them again from a vendor's perspective. And then we will quickly look at what to expect at a very high level in terms of the project and all the parties involved. So right up front, this is our mission statement as a company. We've always looked at the relationship with the Central Bank of Belize as a partnership. We don't see ourselves as a vendor-client relationship. It's always been a very strong strategic partnership on this modernization journey. And our mission here, the statement that we have as a company as a whole, this is something we truly believe in. And even more so now as we roll out many instant payments initiatives in various countries, these instant payments initiatives and projects and solutions get rolled out to the very average person of every country, so that they can actually see it and use it every day, as opposed to a clearing and settlement solution at a central bank is really on the back end, where regular people don't see it or even know about it in some cases. So the instant payments project here that we're rolling out is something that people will actually get to see, and we truly believe we're making a difference here in all parts of the good country of Belize, but also globally, where they're rolling out very similar projects as well. So who we are as a company, we've been around for almost 50 years, basically implementing payment systems to central banks and commercial banks. This is all we do. We do nothing else. It's just implementing payment systems, whether it be clearing and settlement or payment hubs or instant payments more recently within the last few years, for almost 50 years now. We are currently serving, I would say, almost 100 countries now at the central bank level in terms of RTGSs or ACH or instant payments. So there really isn't too much we haven't seen these days when it comes to requirements or ecosystems in terms of interoperability and things like that. So again, just to give you some comfort, we've been doing this for a very long time in many, many countries across 5 continents. The size of the company, we are close to 1,000 employees now, all across the world in various offices. On my next slide, we'll look at where we have those offices and things like that. But we're a growing company. I think back when we did the original project of the clearing and settlement solution, we were around 200 or 300 employees, and now we're close to 1,000. So we're growing, we're opening offices, and obviously instant payments is playing a role in that expansion. So we are headquartered and again founded in 1979 in New York. We have offices all over the globe, including in Europe, Latin America. We have a large outfit in India, in the UK, and more recently, just in the last few months, we've opened 3 new offices, one in Singapore, one in Kenya, and one in Dubai, again, to serve the growing marketplaces and customer base of Montran. Again, achievements. We're in over 90 countries, 75 central banks, clearing institutions, other financial institutions. One thing that makes us unique, and it'll be crucial in a project like this, is we don't just specialize in implementing infrastructure payment systems for central banks. We also specialize in providing payment systems, payment gateways, and solutions to commercial banks in terms of connecting to those systems. So in some cases here in the CARICOM region, we are providing payment systems for the likes of CIBC to connect to instant payment schemes in other jurisdictions. So we'd like to think we know both sides of the spectrum, and along the way of this project, we can assist the institutions, commercial banks, and things like that in terms of connecting and signing up. To get a little bit more detailed and technical, amongst our decades of experience, we've really mastered the ability of interfacing, integrating with all kinds of different external systems that may be present at a bank. So it's well over several hundred other interfaces and integrations that we've done and developed as part of implementations like this. But as Governor said, you know, this is a full ecosystem that will work together as almost as one machine. We like to use the word synergy will really come into play here. Everything will be working together to create liquidity and synergy to bring all these payment systems together to really create this pure ecosystem. Moving on, just some key features with regards to all of our solutions, the solutions and the products that are currently running here at the central bank, but also the commonalities of the instant payments that will be rolled out. All of our solutions are customizable, very flexible in terms of scaling them and implementing the exact requirements. They are all, of course, modern and built on the latest standards and technology. All of our solutions, of course, are multi-currency, multi-institutional, and multilingual. So that can be accommodated, and we have references all over the world that have all these multi-currency, multilingual, and multi-institution. As I mentioned, all the solutions, including this instant payments, and this is important, is scalable. So you may start out and go live and have a certain amount of transactions and volume and usage, but it may dramatically increase over the years, which we hope. and that the system itself will be able to support that scale and that growth. All of our solutions are independent when it comes to platform and database, so we're not reliant upon a certain infrastructure and technology. Again, a little bit more detailed for technical people, but just to give you a flavor of how independent and how flexible we are as a company, I thought that would be important. All of our customers achieve a very high level of straight-through processing. Again, when it comes to enhancements and customizations, all of this can be delivered on demand. So along the way of the project, if things need to be tweaked or implemented in a different way, we can quickly pivot and accommodate those things. And all of our solutions are modular and cloud-ready when it comes to the latest cloud deployments and technologies. Okay, moving on to key benefits of the instant payments solution. Again, some of it will be a little bit repetitive, but again, important to mention it. So a new improved way to pay in Belize, what this means for the general public. Again, it's instant payments, 24/7, 365 days a year, holidays, it doesn't matter, in the middle of the night. It's something that will really create this reliability and availability for the entire public of Belize. So again, a very important note here is that it's all the time, every day, all day. You don't have to wait for windows and different times of the day. This will be something that will always be up and running. Simple and convenient to use, pay using simple options such as mobile numbers, QR codes, digital wallets. So instead of having to use your traditional bank account or bank details or have a banking relationship, it will be able to go out to people that don't have bank accounts and just have phones, for instance. So it'll be really trying to promote and the financial inclusion aspect, which is very important. Obviously, another important point is the safe and secure transactions. There will be a built-in fraud protection solution as part of this implementation. There will be, of course, a digital wallet for everyone, which will include a very easy sign-up for individuals, small businesses, merchants. In the next couple slides, we'll actually see some visuals of that digital wallet. Again, as I mentioned, you will not need any kind of traditional bank access, again, around the financial inclusion initiative. Another important point is it's a one connected payment experience. Digital wallets, banks, payment services are fully connected through one national system, making payments faster and easier. And again, trusted, reliable national platform powered by proven technology used around the world, ensuring reliability, stability, and confidence provided by Montran. So just to give you a quick flavor of the actual wallet, again, it might be a little difficult to see here, but this is what the wallet could look like, may look like. Mobile applications used by any consumer, merchant, or agent with a wallet account. The app is integrated with the digital wallet platform via the back-end APIs and provides a over-the-air enrollment, a number of payment flow options, and transaction history. So in the next two slides, we'll look at what those two scenarios may look like in terms of using this digital wallet. So here you have a typical person-to-person payment where you have one individual utilizing a QR code and the other individual scanning that QR code, and then the payment is actually immediately transacted. And in some cases, in the top right-hand corner, there's actually a authentication where you might have to put in the person's phone number or some sort of authentication code to ensure that it's protected and safe. Similarly, you have the same kind of setup with a QR code, but from a merchant perspective, where the the customer will walk into, let's say, the supermarket and actually scan the QR code there at the merchant, at the store, and be able to perform payment immediately without having to wait for anything. Very quickly, at a high level, just to what to expect from the project. Participants, overall participation. We, of course, will work very closely with the Central Bank of Belize and the different financial institutions that will participate in the project for successful implementation. Of course, adhering to the best practices around the world. But this is obviously very, very important that we all work together and be ready for a project like this and perform the necessary actions and internal initiatives to prepare to connecting to an instant payment system like this, whether it be a commercial bank or another financial institution. That readiness is crucial when it comes to a project like this. General benefits, we've already kind of mentioned it up front, but for the general public, the project will deliver speed, convenience, affordability, inclusion, and security. By enabling instant interoperable payments across banks and payment providers, it will modernize everyday financial interactions and supports a more accessible and resilient payment ecosystem in Belize. And a tentative timeline at this moment, we are expecting to go live in Q1 of 2028. Again, it's not set in stone, but this is what we're looking at. That's it from my side. If there are any questions after the session, I'm happy to meet with anybody that has individual questions or comments. Again, but I thank you, everyone, and we look forward to a very successful project. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Walsh, for that informative presentation. And please give another round of applause to all our presenters for this strong partnership. All right, now we've come to the media's favorite part of the session. The floor is now open for the media to ask their questions. Please remember to say your name and the media that you represent before asking your questions. And we kindly ask you as well if you can make the questions relevant to the presentation so we can make better use of the time we have here today. All right?
Good morning, Shane Williams, Greater Belize Media. Can you say how does this system differ from or complement what we already have with DigiWallet, eCash, and other similar systems?
Okay, let me take a stab at that. First, based on the presentations we've heard, the DigiWallet and the eCash are actually closed system. There's a closed loop and it's not fully integrated. So the fundamental difference with when the IPS come is that everything will be really interconnected. You don't have to be, for example, to move from a participant in one of the system to the next, you have to already be registered and be part of that, that solution. So this one is more integrated. It's totally integrated. I think that's the best differential I could say right now.
Shane, let me just add. The payment space is made up of different forms of payments, different providers. What the fast payments, instant payments system does is that it lays out the backbone for all these different providers to talk. So wallets are a form of payment. When you do an online transfer, whether instant or electronic, if you've done one, you could have it immediate or you could have it another selection. This is a system that will integrate all of those to make each one, this is a big fancy word, interoperable with the other. That's all it is. So it's bringing together all of these different technologies, form of payments, into one payments platform.
And secondly, we can localize it once more. We tend to see that whenever these advancements are made in terms of digital transaction, the most vulnerable side of the population tends to suffer, like for example, with credit cards. Certain populations, the merchant charges them for use of credit card services that is not permitted under law, but they have no avenue to challenge such charges. Is any mechanism in place for certain merchants who would charge that vulnerable population more for using services that should make transactions better, safer, and more accessible?
Yeah. Excellent question, Shane. So this is something that we've been battling with for a few years. I have had personal experience where I have went to a grocer and I have purchased maybe $9 and there's a $15 minimum, and they refuse for me to pay with my debit card. And they would only accept cash. Recently, went to the same store, same under $15 purchase, and now they're slapping on a $1 charge to make me use my debit card. The Bankers Association and the Central Bank have been brainstorming, if you will, on how to address this issue. And we've had very good discussions on what solutions may look like, from the very blunt to something more equitable on both sides. What we hope is to find a solution for this in the very future. It is not necessarily that we want an entirely cashless society. But for the reasons which you've cited, there cannot be price disincentives for the vulnerable members of society. And this is not only about vulnerable members of society, but this is for everyone, to not participate in the formal financial sector. So this is one of a few issues that we want to address together with the Bankers Association and also even the credit unions, to see how we can stop this abuse from happening, because it is really and truly against our financial inclusion motives.
Thank you, Shane.
Good morning. Joe Anthony Peebles, Love News. I have a question. If someone sends money to the wrong person, is there a way to reverse the transaction using the system?
Yeah, there will be a reversal functionality. So yeah, that mechanism will be there for sure.
Okay, and the second one, how secure is the system, and how can users, normal to everyday people, protect themselves from fraud using the system?
From a vendor's perspective, all the latest security features and best practices will be implemented along with this solution. And there'll be all kinds of authentication that will go into place. So yeah, that security will be there for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Took a lot to get here. Good morning. Courtney Menzies, Channel 7. Emmanuel, I know you asked that questions be specific to the presentation, but I think we have time for a little one aside question, Mr. Governor. I just wanted to ask what went into the decision to allow Belize and Atlantic Bank to sort of switch the savings account to a check, or to be treated as a checking account under a different name, of course, and the criticism that this does not actually benefit the customers because of a monthly maintenance fee on this new checking account, and that of course it doesn't accrue the same amount of interest that it would have in the savings account. Thank you.
Courtney, I think you have the Atlantic Bank reps squirming in their seat there. I mean,
Anyone's free to answer.
Oh, is that so? So first thing I have to correct is that the Central Bank was not involved in that decision. There was no approval sought for Atlantic Bank or any other bank to have done that. What I will say is that there are current powers under the Central Bank that only go as far as putting caps and floors on lending rates and also floors on savings deposits. Savings deposits have been specifically defined. That the latest round of revision was when we engaged the commercial banks roughly a year and a half, 2 years ago, when we wanted or intended to address fee-based income at the commercial banks. And it took a while for us to get at a middle position, a compromise position, which both parties were reasonably satisfied with. But as you rightly pointed out, there have been there have been more concerns by the public that there are more fees being applied, particularly when prices are going up. You're not making income on your savings, but the cost of living is certainly going up. I will also tell you that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the other banks in the room, this is not a unique move by that bank that you mentioned.
I mentioned both Atlantic and Belize Bank.
Oh, wonderful, good.
No big favorites.
So, you know, so that should tell you something about the structure of our market. Those two are the biggest banks. And I'm not going to tell you what that tell you something is. But this has not been off the table with the Bankers Association. We continue again to have respectful discussions on the matter of fees, and we're doing our part to assist banks that are entirely profit-driven with private interests. The central bank's objective is public interest. Is there a middle? Absolutely. And we're going to continue to work towards addressing some of these issues as best as we can. One of the other things which we should have mentioned here are the other things not directly affecting payments, such as the credit bureau, which should allow better credit risk assessment across the financial sector, thereby reducing losses that commercial banks tend to incur naturally over time. We're going to also later on this year fully work on our financial consumer protection bill for matters such as this and any other where the depositor or the person accessing a service from a commercial bank may feel as if there is some injustice done. And of course, there's the Credit Union Act, there are Money Lenders Act, all these things which are all complementing what we're trying to do here in the digital space. I will give an indication up front that once fully implemented and the experiences or use cases around the world, there is the practice that you can eliminate certain charges for digital transactions or make it zero for a certain period of time to pursue financial inclusion objectives. So this is what we've been seeing around the world. The World Bank has numerous examples of where participation agreements, once the system is up and running, can say 0 cents on a digital transaction for a period of 6 months or a year or indefinitely. And that is certainly something we will consider and will engage with commercial banks and credit unions as we get further into this project.
Will you also consider the teller withdrawal fee? I believe for Atlantic Bank with this new system is $3 and with Belize Bank it's $4. A lot of people still go into the bank to withdraw money.
Yeah, complicated again answer, very involved. You want people to realize that you can do transactions from your phone. All these banks are pushing their apps. Move money through your phone, and you can see how transaction volumes are rolling up, or are going up. Because brick and mortar places or bank offices are becoming a thing of the past. 5 years from now, central bank will be pursuing open banking objectives and all of that. So is the $3, $4 excessive? I agree with you completely. Um, like I said, it's an ongoing discussion, and we got to see where's the sweet spot.
Awesome, thank you.
Nothing on IPS court?
Good morning, Giovanni O'Brien from Crime and XTV. Can you talk about the fees to use a new service and if there would be a minimum amount of funds that could be transferred using it?
So maybe if I could take this one quickly. No, there's no minimum transaction value that will be required in the system. That's one. And as I mentioned in the previous remark, charges, we'll discuss charges as we get closer to implementation date, what the central bank will do with all participants.
And it was mentioned that this would encourage those who are not in the banking system yet to get into it. Can you explain how that would work?
Yeah, so we fully recognize that in rural communities, there is not ICT infrastructure. There's a chart that we were considering putting up which measures and I think Fed may have mentioned it, where we are in terms of number of Belizeans who have access to financial service. It's one of our key indicators that the central bank looks at. Part of the reason why this number has probably stagnated is because there's not the ICT technology in remote communities in Toledo. If you venture in those parts, these people have their own financial ecosystem, not even transacting in Belize dollars, but in Guatemalan currency. It is quite shocking. What we intend to do, imagine if we can get infrastructure with our telephone companies to these remote villages. Matt demonstrated, well, you can get to a point where you can open a bank account using your phone. You could have a wallet using your phone. The various wallets providers in the room, you can get access simply because all the system is now talking to each other. One of the key features which will be layered or should be considered is an eKYC platform. So you can have your information needed, your know your customer information needed for simple due diligence, and you can open your account anywhere you are, without physically going into a bank. This is a vision that we have, and if this is done right, this can be a reality in 2 to 3 years.
And you mentioned that the service will be available 24/7, but unfortunately for some of us, data is not available 24/7. How would that factor into those who live in areas who might not have the best access?
Yeah, like I said, if you are able to connect those people, then data on their account is available immediately. Somebody can send a request for pay, and if that person decides to look at his phone or get received at midnight, he pays right then and there because he knows what is in his or her wallet and can pay that. Again, it's getting connectivity to these areas and getting them banked. And I say bank, but bank means access to any financial service, a wallet, or a bank account, or a credit union account, or anything. And that's a big objective.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Giovanni. We have another question from Channel 5.
I'm sorry, just one more. I don't have a better term for this, but just to follow up on not needing a bank account or something like that, how is the process of quote unquote liquefying this system? We know the Belize Bank has a customer base. We know DigiWallet has a customer base and systems all over the country. So for someone who doesn't have a bank account, how will they? We are starting at zero right now in terms of the system. So how will you liquefy? How will you put cash into the system without the base that these other companies already have enter into digital wallet?
Yeah. So this, and I'll ask the others to also chime in here. So again, if you work under the assumption that there's the technology there in that space, and let's say I work on a banana field, what my employer can do is then immediately or easily create a wallet, whether Digi wallet or Belize Bank wallet, for on behalf of that person. And his weekly salary then, once that wallet is created, goes to that person. He then gets control of his wallet and begins to interact within the space. So that's how this thing is supposed to really work. And that's an easy thing. That's not too far-fetched. I mean, that banana goes and sit with his boss. This is where your payment is going to go. You're no longer going to get cash. Here's your wallet account. Move on.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
And just a quick thing to add to Governor is that another way, there's different ways of doing it, right? But you have to look at different profile of the client. So there's certain requirements that you would want if you're dealing with a transaction at a certain level. But if you identify yourself as a small user, then you can relax the risk, and therefore you're able to treat them at different categories. So, right?
Shane, if I may, and the team just reminded me that also part of our financial literacy project is digital financial education. So we have to do better as this group within the financial sector space, partnering with schools at all levels to increase our financial literacy. Because it's hard to move from cash into this. People want to see money on their hand, you know, and that's a trust thing. And you can see how in the graph there was this sort of steeper climb gradient in our graph, because it takes a while for adoption to happen. But with apps 2.0 or apps, we hopefully you're just building on what is already there. But we have to do more in terms of financial literacy and financial education.
That's it from the media? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And as you know, Governor and the head people said here, this is just the beginning. It creates that foundation to develop and modernize the digital payment ecosystem in Belize. So this is just the start. More is to come, and of course, with strong partnerships from global partners, but as well from the local community, from the users, this will benefit Belize. So thank you for your questions, media. Now, as we bring this session to a close, I want to emphasize again that you will be hearing much more from us in the coming months as the central bank will continue to provide updates and roll out our public education campaign. So this is only the start for that education component part of it. For more information, of course, we invite you all, the media, and of course the general public, to visit our website, www.centralbank.org.bz, or contact us at info@centralbank.org.bz if you have additional questions or need further clarifications. And on behalf of the Central Bank of Belize, I would like to thank our speakers for sharing your insights, our technical team for your support, and our partners and stakeholders for your continued collaboration. And of course, you, the media, our media colleagues, thank you so much for helping us share this very important milestone with the country. And for everyone as well tuning in, thank you and have a wonderful day. For the media as well, before you go, if you could please do us a favor and Hello? Yes, my colleagues just reminded me, apologies, there's refresh.